1994, Friends was on television, Seinfeld, okay, no cell phones. The internet was just a baby. Jeff Bezos had this little company that he was selling books out of his garage called Amazon. And the engineers at Ferrari said, let's put something on the road like we've not ever built before, which is this car here. From 1994 to 1999, 5 production years, the 355, the F355, and then this later iteration, the 355 F1 with an F1 transmission came to be. And this car came to me. Well, it didn't really come to me. It came to Nova Scotia. And on Maritime Machines, we're going to tell you a little bit about how that all happened as we go for our ride in our very first supercar in the series. Ken Compton, so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Sheldon.
We're here in Hammonds Plains, and this is a fantastic looking automobile. Tell me a little bit about when this car first caught your eye. When did that happen?
Well, when I was getting ready to semi-retire in 2014, I was looking for a Ferrari for some years, and I was looking through the different models, and I really liked the style of this one. I wanted the Spider, and I also
the Spider is the convertible one.
This one here,
right,
yeah.
Right.
And I wanted one that had all of the initial issues sorted, because
first generation of any production model car, never mind an Italian-built one that was sold for the American market or the North American market.
Yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I looked around and I found this one in Kelowna, BC. So I went through the information that they had on it, and the previous owner talked to him, or the owner at the time, and I found out that the headers had been changed because the originals used to crack a bit, and there's other issues that they had with them. So, so I put a down payment on it. I went over to Kelowna and took it for a test drive in February, and
February?
Yeah.
In the wintertime?
Yeah, Kelowna's nice.
But it's not, okay.
Yeah,
it's not like
Edmonton.
Moncton or Edmundston.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I took it, of course, I was going to buy it anyway. But anyway, so I took it for a little test drive up the mountains there, and of course
the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, and
top down.
Actually, yes. Yeah, it was 4 or 5 degrees, so a sunny day.
Why not?
So in here, in case the system for the raising and lowering of the top doesn't work, the hydraulic system, it's got a special set of tools right here that are used to manually lift and lower the roof. So it's all there. They thought about all this stuff. Maybe it didn't work at one stage. I don't know. But
is there a more iconic look than this?
No, not in my view, but I'm prejudiced.
Yeah, but you don't have that view. You're sitting up here. So was this an option as well?
Yeah, this is called the Ferrari Challenge Grill, and it's as you can see, it's perforated for better cooling for the engine bay.
Right.
So, and I think it looks better on the original car. It would just be a red panel.
Right.
Yeah.
And after this, when they evolved to the 360 models, they made sure you could see the engine.
Yes.
So it's a little bit hidden, a little bit obscure, but it's Italian design. It's function as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really think that one of the most beautiful looking engines is also one of the most beautiful sounding engines. I think we should pop the hood, I don't know what you call it, on the back of a Ferrari.
Hood'll do.
Hood'll do.
I think.
And take a look inside. There we have it.
There it is. So when this car was made and they introduced the 5 valve per cylinder, this engine actually produced more horsepower per unit of displacement than any other naturally aspired engine of the day.
Of the day.
Yeah.
So it's around 375.
That's correct.
About that. Now, torque, it's about 288 at
somewhere in there.
5,500 RPM, 6,000.
Yeah. And because it's it's a high revving engine, in order to get that real pull, you got to run it up 5, 6, 7,000 RPM.
Which is really kind of amazing considering it is a V8.
Yeah.
But it's that flat crankshaft that allows it, well, it does create some other issues, but as you were saying, it's horsepower is also a combination of, it's an air pump. Let's be honest, that's what engines are. And this was getting the most out of that with the 5L.
Yes.
5L assembly.
Yeah.
Now, this car is 20 some odd years old, and there was a recall because of the fuel line system that you'd mentioned, and that's why many carry a fire extinguisher. That has to do with the assembly up front?
Yeah, so these are the fuel injection lines here. It's pretty high pressure. And so they found that if they weren't positioned correctly, and there was a wear point where the engine moves when you rev it and stuff, there was some fuel leaks, and then the fuel would make its way down onto the headers and then create a fire hazard. So
I just really appreciate having this opportunity, and I'm not going to lie. I can't wait to get a ride in this car,
well,
or even to drive it. No,
I think we should.
I had to lay that out there just in case. You never know. Let's go for a drive.
I'm with you 100%.
Away we go. And what a sound. So it really is a different experience with the engine behind you.
Yeah.
Like the way that the car reacts, and of course the sound.
Yeah, the way it handles, yeah, it's the weight distribution is very even, and the center of gravity is so low.
So you just downshifted with your fingers.
Yeah.
Speed bumps. You know what? The ride isn't as lumpy as I thought it might be.
No, it's actually pretty good. It's quite comfortable on a long drive.
Well, what is your daily?
My old 2010 Ford Ranger.
Nice.
But in the summertime, you know, if the weather's good and I have to do something, I'll take this. You know, it's not a garage queen.
It's a Ferrari 355 F1, and the F1 is Formula One. Ferraris are they've always been built on race platforms. It's always been about racing.
Yes, and
Enzo.
these were the Berlinetta style, the hardtop. These were the Ferrari challenge car of the years that these were built. So yeah, they didn't make many of them. So, and I don't know how many are left. The Ferrari site tries to keep track of how many are still running. So they have a registration thing, but.
And as far as you know, there's one other car like this in Halifax or Nova Scotia.
Yeah. When I had the car in for the engine out service, Kevin was working on another 355. It's a yellow one. I haven't met the gentleman that owns it, so that's all I know.
I want to hear what it sounds like, because when I'm in there, I'm not going to hear it as much as I'm going to hear it right in this spot right now.
Okay.
It just amazes me how it's doing the clutch work.
Yes.
Automatically.
And it's so quick.
Or hydraulically, yeah. But even when you're slowing down to come to a stop, where, you know, friction point,
And this is the first iteration of the F1 shifting system. They've made some improvements on it since then, of course. But we talked earlier about the F1 system. This is just the little reservoir for the F1 oil system, which is hooked up to the shifting mechanism that they adapted from the F1 cars of the day to give it the paddle shift.
This is rare in its own right because, as mentioned, the F1 system, it has the paddle shift. It also has a function that says automatic, but it's not really automatic. It's controlling a system that's controlling a standard transmission with a standard clutch or hydraulic clutch.
Yes, that's right. But if you're driving it in non-automatic mode, I never put it in automatic, but if you were and you for some reason forget to downshift, it will automatically downshift for you if instead of stalling the engine.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were born in Prince Edward Island?
Yes, yeah, a place called Bell River.
And you grew up there?
Yes, till I was 17, 18.
And then what happened?
Well, I went to UPEI for a year, mainly to play hockey and party. So that doesn't work out too good on the academic side, right?
Yeah.
So after the first year, I had a student loan to pay off, and a friend of mine, we were getting ready to sign on to a boat that ran from Labrador to the Caribbean, carrying potatoes down and rum back. And they were kind of late, so we got tired of waiting. So in October, we packed our backsacks and stuck our thumbs out and headed west. And eventually ended up in Edmonton, where an uncle of mine had worked in the oil industry for some years prior. And we were getting low on money, and it was getting cold and that. So my uncle Grover, he said, well, you're here and they're really hiring. This was 72. Really hiring people in the oil field, and I know a lot of guys there, so why don't you work the rigs for the winter?
For the winter turned into?
42, 44 years.
You left Prince Edward Island with your thumb out, and now you go back in a Ferrari.
Yeah, I guess.
What a story that is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And many places in between. The oil industry is great because you can work all over the world, and you meet good people, and it's very competitive, not in favor now, but very competitive, challenging, technical industry.
You mentioned when you had the engine out. Now, I drive a Volkswagen that has to have a timing belt maintenance. Part of its existence is because of that. It's a similar issue, is that you have to maintain that system for the camshaft belts.
Yes.
But you can't, the engine's back here. So you physically have to take the engine out to do that?
Yeah, you drop the engine, so take the car up on the lift and unbolt everything. Well, unbolt most of it when it's on the ground or on the low lift.
Yeah.
Unbolt everything, and then you just take the body up and leave the engine sitting on the stand. Yeah. It took about 12 hours.
Okay.
To get the engine out, completely out.
You got to do that? You got
to
do some of that?
Yes. Working with Kevin Meisner over at his shop, it was just amazing, you know, because when I was looking to do the project, I wasn't afraid of dropping the motor because I do the maintenance on the car myself, but I was afraid about getting the timing right, putting it back together. Right. And so I looked around, and Kevin said he'd do it, and I said, that's great. He's got the experience. But I said, I'd really like to be able to get some hands-on with you, and he said, no problem. And that's rare for anybody with a mechanic shop that will let you come in there and help out. Well, I've never shown it.
It's more of a goer than a shower.
Well,
that's a different culture.
Yeah, I've had friends that have shown cars, but it depends on what you're doing, I guess, but a lot of them a lot of time cleaning, getting everything immaculate and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I know there's the folks that ride their motorcycle to the coffee shop and sit there and yak.
Yeah.
That's not my scene either. If I'm on the bike, I'm on the bike.
Yeah, yeah. You want to drive. Yeah. No point having a nice machine unless you're going to get out and on the road.
It's quite the engineering design that has that exhaust open up it.
Yeah.
wife think of this car?
She hasn't been in it yet. She doesn't like it.
Really?
No.
What is it that she's not a fan of?
She thinks that we're too old to be driving around in this kind of thing.
Too old? All right, I'll be rude. Well, actually, I won't ask you how old you are. What do you weigh? No, I'm kidding. That's not much of a horn for a Ferrari, is it?
The kids always get a kick out of it. We lived out in a place called Bell River, which, if you're familiar with getting off the ferry when you come from Nova Scotia to PEI, it's the next community to Wood Islands towards Charlottetown when you get off the ferry. Dad had he was in the lumber business, so he had a portable sawmill that we used to haul around and cut lumber for folks in those days,
He was from the island?
Oh yeah. We actually grew up in the homestead that my grandfather and his father built back in the 1890s, and they had a kind of a big operation going there. They had farms and lumber. They had a sawmill that my great-grandfather built. That was originally it was a wind-powered sawmill back in the early parts of the 1910, 19 something, and then later on they went to a diesel-powered one-lunger.
Is there any more iconic car emblem in the world? I see it, your hat, your jacket.
Yeah, I'm all dressed up here today.
Do you know what the history is of that logo?
Actually, it's from a fighter pilot from the First World War, the prancing horse that Enzo Ferrari adopted for the cars, I think.
Yeah, and it was kind of like a good luck charm, and it's truly iconic. And I know I kind of said it has something that predated what Tesla did, but you know, a Tesla is an electric car. Everything's underneath. This is a rear mid-mounted engine, but there's no engine up here.
That's correct.
That's what I was getting at. It has a front trunk.
Yeah, frunk.
A frunk, as people call it. And I don't know. Some people say that there's not a lot of room inside the front trunk of any vehicle, but this one's pretty sizable.
It's not bad. There's some fitted luggage for it, and there's a toolkit in there. I can't get a set of golf clubs in, so when I go golfing, I have to.
You don't take a passenger, right?
That's right.
Your passenger are your clubs.
Yeah.
Right. Oi. Fall out of it. Oi. She's a bit tight on the side with the seat up. Okay.
Start and listen. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. The brake comes off.
Yeah, and then just push that down, yeah.
And I know it's off. Is there a light that says?
Yeah, lights out, so you're good.
And then
up. Just foot on the brake and one on this side, and you should be.
There's one.
Yeah, you're good to go.
And away we go. Smooth as glass.
It's actually an easy car to drive. You know, just get a little getting used to, but. Feel good?
It feels amazing. It really does. Oh, and I see in some cars the paddles move at the wheel, but they stay static.
These don't, yeah. And I was on the simulator last week over in Dartmouth, like I was saying before, and driving a 911 turbo around Nuremberg, the Nürburgring, and the shift paddles on that turned with the wheel, and it was messing me up. Couldn't figure out what the hell was going on.
So the downshift is pretty much the same. You just
Yeah. Yeah, and you can give it a little blip on the throttle. It sounds good, but it'll shift either way. It doesn't matter.
3,000 RPM.
Yeah, just kind of cruising along.
The luggage that came with this, did it come with the car when it was purchased?
Yes, it did, and it's from the Italian company called Sidoni, and they manufacture the leather for Ferrari.
Everything on the interior?
Yeah, all of the stuff has got the Ferrari emblem on it.
Mm-hmm.
And they all come with these bags too.
Oh, wow, okay.
And so that's the luggage set there.
Well, yeah, you pretty much have to have that out, and if you're going to get groceries in this.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right.
And then the toolkit, again in a bag.
I love the optimism. The fact that they thought that anyone who bought this car when it was new at $150,000 US was going to have the inclination and the interest to take out the toolkit.
Yeah. So it's got
spare belts.
And these are cooling belts and whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
And then it's got the wrenches and the screwdrivers, all with the Ferrari name on them. Now, to get one of these today, they don't give them away.
Oh, this was included when the car was purchased?
Yeah.
And now if you want one, you have to pay for it?
Oh, yeah, and that where people are looking for them.
Oh,
So
I suspect, yeah.
if somebody has one of the cars and they don't have the toolkit,
It's not complete.
no, it's not complete. Necessary, never used in my...
Oh, yes, safety first. Yeah.
So anyway, that's the frunk.
Thank you so much for this. This has been an adventure of a lifetime. I can now say that not only do I know everything there is to know about your car, I know a little bit more, It's a 1999 355, a Ferrari 355 F1. I was noting before they called them F355s before they had the F1 transmission. So, like I said, too many Fs, so they got to get the F out of there.
Get the F out of there, yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see why you fell in love with this car.
Yeah, it's a pretty special car, and thank you to you guys. You know, it's been a special day.
I guess we'll have to unbolt, unclip, and uncover ourselves from the world of Ferrari. Oh, awesome. So if you ever need someone to drop it off somewhere for you,
There you go, huh?